and success mindset. Okay, sales and success mindset. Because, first of all, nothing is going to really happen before something gets sold. And that is a part of our everyday life. Whether you're an employee or not, the only reason you have a job is because somebody is selling something. Okay, you don't have a job if nothing's getting sold. I don't care what you do, who you are. If you are running your business, then you understand sales is a big part of what we do. Now, people get uncomfortable with the word sales. They're like, oh, I'm not really a salesperson. I'm not this, I'm not that. So I was having a conversation with a young lady, and she was telling me about her job and how her job has never paid her what she's worth. It's never paid her anywhere close to what she felt she deserves, and she's been doing it for years. And I said to her, "Is that why you drive Uber?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "How long have you been driving Uber?" She said, "For 5.5 years." I said, "Well, what is your plan? What are you going to do?" She was like, "I don't know." And I said, "So, in terms of your money right now, do you have the type of money where you can make your decisions and not have to think about it?" She said, "No, absolutely not." I said, "Okay, is it fair to say that you live check to check?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay. So have you ever thought about," and this is exactly what I said, "have you ever thought about going into sales and learning sales?" And she says, "No, I don't really see myself as a salesperson." And I said, "Yes, but you're a broke person. Like do you want to just be a broke person, or do you want to learn a skill where you don't have to be broke?" And and she was like, "Well, you have a point." And I was like, "Well, if I were you, I would learn, I would think about learning sales." Now, some of you will say to me, "Well, man, Ed, that's kind of harsh. You don't even know this person." Number one, I don't meet strangers. Any of you all that know me, I don't meet strangers. When I talk to people, I love people and I make them feel very comfortable right off the bat. And I don't really care if you get offended or not, because I'm only talking to you from a place of love and respect anyway. So if you can't get down with that, I don't care. It's not my business how you receive the message. It is my business to deliver it. So for everybody here, you have to understand, if you spend your time thinking about how somebody's going to receive what you have to offer, you lose. You're done. You're not going to have any growth or progress, because you're giving all your power away to somebody who has absolutely nothing to do with your future. They have no say in what you can and cannot do. When you start to think about how they're going to respond, you're giving your power away, and you're ceding your success to somebody else who doesn't have a vested interest in you winning. So, in other words, if I get caught up in how John is going to react to what I'm bringing to the table, and John is like, "Man, I'm not into that. I don't have any interest in that," and I get butthurt because he says that, well, now I'm following him instead of him following me. See, every conversation that you have, every interaction that you have, it is a question of who is the most aligned. See, if my prospect is aligned with thinking like a broke person, if my prospect is aligned with only working for somebody else and collecting a paycheck, and that's all they want, that's all they know, that's all they want to know, and then I get thrown off because they say to me, "I don't have any interest in that. I don't want to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I want to, switch where I'm shopping, or why would I want to help somebody else do that? That doesn't make any sense. I don't think what you're doing is cool." And I get upset about that. Well, now I'm falling in alignment with them. And if I fall in alignment with my prospect, then I'm going to be going exactly where they're going, which is nowhere. Every encounter that you have, it's a question of your alignment. And the person who is most aligned is going to win. So when I talk to somebody, I believe in getting to know first. I want to be first to know. So I ask questions. "Hey, Yasmin, let me ask you a question. Are you into clean, organic, and non-toxic?" "Okay, cool. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you think that health and fitness needs to be important? Do you want to play the long game? Do you want to be, awesome and fit and fine for the next 40 years? Because if you do, you're talking to the right person. You and I can have a conversation." If she says anything other than, "Heck yeah, I'm all in on that," like, "Yeah, I vibe on that." If she says anything other than that, I ain't messing with it. But if she's like, "Yeah, I'm about it," now she has qualified herself for me to have a conversation. If she's not feeling that, I'm done. Okay, cool. Thanks for playing. Thanks for answering my questions. I disqualify her, and then I ask if she's got any referrals. Well, who do you know that is into fitness? Who do you know that is into health and longevity? Because every time I play this game, I win. Every time I play this game, I win. There's no freaking way I'm going to allow somebody else to win over me. It's not happening. So you may tell me that these things are not important to you. That's on you. I am looking for people who are looking to level up in their health and their well-being. If you don't want to speak that language, if you don't want to learn, you don't have to know it now. But if you don't want to learn that language, that's on you. I don't have time. I'm going to the next person. That's the most important word. Next. Next. Listen, one of my friends, she said to me years ago, this is the funniest thing. She said, men are like buses. There's always another one pulling up. And I just laughed out loud. Why? Because she was saying, I ain't gonna be sweating over no dude. Like no dude is gonna I ain't tripping on that. There's another one coming up in any moment now. Because she knew her value, she knew her worth. You have to understand when you're trying to find the right people, they're coming. And if you're talking to an idiot, you got to move the idiot out the way so that the right person can come in their place. Period. Keep it moving. Just keep it moving. When I look at this screen and I see this group of powerful, imposing leaders, that's what I see when I'm looking at you all's faces right now. I see your light, your energy, your beauty, your strength, your power, your intelligence. I am trying to find individuals that qualify to be in the room with you. So when I'm talking to people, if they're not measuring up to what I think you would deem as acceptable, I'm on to the next person. I ain't tripping on it. So alignment so that you can be more efficient and quicker with your conversation, quicker with your ability when you pre-qualify and then qualify. It's just moving with speed, because your job, first and foremost, when you're talking about sales and success, is to stay on the line. I'm staying on the line. Now, people will argue, well, it's not really sales because you're just, you're having a conversation and I'm just letting someone know, hey, I'm giving you an opportunity to upgrade the quality of your life without messing with your bank book, without messing with your bank account. Like, that's cool, right? It's not much of a sale. It's really not much of a sale. Like, think about what we're doing. If I come to you and I say, hey, I'm going to upgrade your entire home, and you can just continue to spend at the same rate that you've been spending, or we can increase your spending by maybe 10%, but the quality of your life and your life experience is going to go up at least 50%, if not more. Or better yet, you might cut 10% of your spending and the quality of your life and your health and well-being is going to go up 50% or more. So it's going to be 10% either side. You're either going to save 10%, or you might spend an extra 10, depending upon your lifestyle before you and I met and had the conversation. So you all have to remember, it's just your alignment. That's number one. Number two, let's say you keep getting the same response. So let's say the response is, I ain't got no money. It looks good, it sounds good, but I ain't got no money. If you're getting the same response over and over again, it says something about you, your thinking, and what you're attracting more than it does the response that you're getting. That's what we call a tell. It allows us to evaluate what our mindset is and our belief and our posture about what we're talking about. So if you keep getting the same thing over and over and over again, if it's always, I ain't got no money, 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 then number one, you're targeting people who are weak. You're targeting weak people. You're targeting broke people or broke-minded people. And the reason you're doing it is because you think subconsciously that's an easy target. And you're not looking for people that are at your level or are leveled up from you, that are different level than you are. So what it means is you're number one, you're prejudging and you're looking for easies, right? And I understand like whenever you get started with something, people will always there's always somebody, right? There's usually anywhere from 2 to 5 people that are going to buy whatever you're selling because they mess with you, like they down with you. They're gonna buy whatever you sell. It doesn't matter what it is. They're just gonna sign up because it's you. That's fine. Everybody has that. Like I have not encountered someone that doesn't have at least two people that are like, yeah, I'll get it. It's a few $100s, sure. Like I'll do it. We'll figure it out later. But you have to remember, if you're getting the same thing over and over again, you got to look in the mirror and say, okay, what is my level of belief? What is my level of understanding of the true value of what I'm bringing to the table? Because who you are is valuable. If someone has an opportunity to be in your company, to work directly with you, there's value in that. And you couple that with what you're selling, what you're promoting, it takes everything up to a very high level. So your job is to make sure people understand this is a very unique invitation, conversation, and opportunity that I'm bringing to you that you haven't had anybody come to you like this in a very, 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 very long time. You haven't had anybody bring a company and an infrastructure and a system with this level of service and experience for the customer. You've never had this probably ever in your life. If I'm a gambling person, okay? Like if you can prove me wrong, I'm all about it. Come hang out with me for 90 days, do exactly as I'm guiding you to do. And then at the end of 90 days, if your life is not incrementally better, if it's not noticeably better, if your health and your fitness isn't better, then we'll still part as friends. It's all good. But that's never happened. No one has ever taken up the 90-day challenge and been like, yeah, nah, like I'm good. Like I'm actually going to go back. No, said no one ever. So you have to be willing to put your money where your mouth is. When you get involved in a relationship, you got to be able to tell somebody, hey, I'm in it to win it. Like I'm a rock with you. And when you call, I'm picking up the phone. Your success is my success. Your priorities, if you want to win and you want to win at a high level, I'm all about it. I will make time for your success. I might be busy, but I will make time and I will make your success as much of a priority as my own. And no matter what happens, I'm here. There's nothing that's going to stop me from being of supreme service to you and your goals and your dreams. So when you show up like that and your posture's that way, you're gonna start to see those objections. Like if it's I ain't got no money, I ain't got no money, I ain't got no money. That's not gonna happen because number one, your posture and your confidence is gonna go up and you're gonna start asking better questions. How many of y'all ever remember when you first started dating and you remember you went out with some knuckleheads and then after a while you started to figure out some patterns, right? And you start asking better questions. And that first, second date, you were like, hey, how about this? How about that? And you could tell by the way they were answering the question, how they were moving. You were like, oh, this is a knucklehead. Yeah, I don't need a third date. I'm good. I don't need a second date. No, I'm good. Because you could read them. You learned. You got way better at what? Pre-qualifying. You got to earn a second date. You got to earn a third date. Pre-qualifying. You ask better questions. You can read the room because your confidence and your posture is different because what? You know your value, you know your worth, you know what you bring to the table. That's what we're doing, ladies and gents. That's what we're doing. We're simply saying, I know what I'm bringing to the table. Like I got this infrastructure behind me. I got these products. The experience you're going to have, it's going to rock your world. I know it is. So either you're going to answer the questions correctly that will qualify you and I to have a sit down, if it's in person or an overview or what have you, and then we'll talk about next steps. So every time I play this game, I win because I'm either going to identify you're someone that I'm going to have to come back to. I'm going to identify you're someone that I need to remove off my list. I'm going to identify if you're someone that's ready to get going right now. Either way, it's a win because my job is to identify who's who. And I do it dispassionately. I do it objectively. I don't have any connection, or I am not concerned with the outcome because I have no control over that. You can't control that. You cannot control what somebody's going to do or say. So stop tripping on that. Like when you think about how somebody's going to respond, it's silly because you ain't got no control over it anyway. But what I do is I want to get first to know. I want to be the first one to say no. So if you give me any hint of weakness, if you give me any hint that you're a flip-flopper, if you give me any hint that you're wishy-washy or you're a whiner or you're a moaner or a complainer, or you think so little of yourself, you have such a low self-worth image that you think $500 is a lot of money. If that's your mindset, I'm done. Like I'm not even bringing up the business that I do because you do not qualify. So all of the power lies in your hands. You're the one leading the conversation, not the other way around. You're the one asking the questions. They're not asking questions. Hey, Anna, let me ask you something. So tell me a little bit more about listen, I understand that you want to know more, but until you and I set the appointment and where I can share with you what it is and break it down, I'm not having a back and forth with you right now. I don't have time. I'm simply asking if you're open and can we set the appointment? If you don't want to set the appointment, that's totally fine. I still love you. Next. Because that's Anna taking charge of the conversation. That's Anna letting that prospect know you're not in charge. I'm in charge. This is not your process. It is my process. And if you want to play, then you have to follow my rules. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not being secretive. I'm not being coy. I'm just letting you know how this rolls out. When you all go and make an appointment to go see your dentist or your doctor, you don't tell the dentist, well, you call me when you have some openings up and then I'll check my calendar and I'll get back to you. You don't do that. They'd be like, what are you talking about? No, you are going to tell me, does this work? And I will put you on the calendar and you will be here on this day and this time. And what do they do as soon as you're done with your appointment? They are not letting you leave the office without at least asking you, would you like to schedule your next appointment now? Even though it's 6 months out, what do they always say before you walking out the door? Would you like to schedule it 6 months? Oh, sure. Okay. Why do they do that? Because they're in charge. It's their process. They know the name of the game is setting and keeping appointments. If they don't set and keep appointments, and I don't know if we have a power cord for the laptop I'm on because it's about to die, but if they don't set and keep appointments, they're out of business. It's not about selling you on having whiter teeth. They don't even have that conversation until you're in the chair. What are they selling at all times? They're selling what? The time. They're booking the appointment. That is all they're selling. Ladies and gentlemen, all we're doing is we're setting an appointment. Can you get on this overview? Can you get on this tour? Can I share with you this? We're just setting an appointment. We're just setting the time. That is it. That's all we're doing. And once you get that in your head, it's not personal. It's just setting an appointment. We let the information, we're gonna tell that story. We're gonna share our story. Here's my experience. Here's what's taken place. Here's why I'm so excited about it. Here's why I value it so much that I can bring that to you. So understanding that process and being completely bought into it, I'm willing to listen to what you have to say because it's that good. Like if what I'm sharing with you is so good, I would want to share it with everybody. It's not just you, right? So understand, thank you so much. So understand that that's the name of the game. So the more, and here's why sales and success is so dynamic, because it forces you to get better. it forces you to level up. It forces you to overcome some of your own preconceived notions around it. Listen, when I first started in sales, I had so much emotional baggage and I had this sense of entitlement because I remember the very first product I sold, it was a membership. Okay. And at the time that I got involved, the reason I got involved with sales initially was because somebody explained the power of leverage to me. When I heard about leverage and I heard about the numbers, I was immediately in love. I was so turned on. Because the first number I heard was it's only like 2 or 3% of the population that moves this way, that thinks this way. So I got turned on by that because I've never ever I mean, if you ever want to insult me, if you ever want to see a different side of me, call me average, call me mediocre, call me like everybody else. Like come at me like you would anybody else that has a regular job. Like talk to me like anybody else is making $60,000 a year and they think that that's okay. Like if you want to see a different side of me, try to come at me like that. That just sets me off. That's number one. So I saw the percentages. I'm like, man, it's only a few percentages of people that move and think this way. That's why it's a smaller percentage of the population that's rich. Okay. The second thing was leverage. Oh yeah, I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own. Like that made sense to me because I had already experienced it. See, I was in a unique position because at that point I had already started, this was like years after I'd started doing film and television. So I was already making a residual income. I was getting paid. I still get paid every quarter. It's been going on for 25 years. I get paid every single quarter for film and TV stuff I did years ago. But I already understood, like if you plug into a network and the work that I did, people still consume it, I get paid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, multiple time zones. And I haven't done anything in years, but I still get paid for it. I got that, that was burned in my brain by accident because I never got into acting thinking about residual. I didn't know what residual was until I started getting those checks. I had no idea. My agent never told me anything about it. Checks started showing up in my mailbox and I thought they had made a mistake. You know what it's like when when everything you do is based on auditions and booking a job and it's 94% unemployment, okay? And so I'm getting these checks that I don't know where they're coming from and I'm running to the bank because I don't have anything else. I'm not working a side job. I'm not waiting tables. I'm not doing hustle jobs. I'm just acting. So everything is dependent upon that. When I'm getting these extra checks, I'm sprinting to the bank. And right before I went in the bank, I called because I was like, man, if I put this check and deposit it and I find out that they made a mistake and I got to give this money back, I'm going to be pissed because I'm about to eat. I'm missing meals. So I called my agent and I was like, is this a mistake? He was like, no, that's your residual. I was like, what? And that's when I first learned. Okay. So it was in my head. So when they broke down to me, I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own. I was like, wait a minute, but it's based on my effort. I don't have to happen into a good television series like Law and Order or Law and Order Criminal Intent. I don't have to happen into a big movie like Inside Man or The Interpreter. I can build it on my own and I can build it as big as I want because it's based on 100% of my effort. So I got that. I was like, wait a minute. So there's no limit. I can talk to as many people as I want. All I have to do if I want to make more money is talk to more people. If I talk to more people, I make more money. I got that. But here was my hang up. My hang up around sales initially was I had grown up and I used to hear terms like, oh, used car salesman, and so there was a negative connotation to salesmen and sales. I was totally ignorant. I didn't know any better. I didn't understand that when I went to Yale for graduate school, Yale University sold me on the idea of going $75,000 in debt to go to graduate school because in exchange, I'm getting this Ivy League education. And Yale is like this big, mystical place that, not a lot of people get into. I bought into it, but somebody had to sell me on that. I didn't understand it at the time. We're always being sold, always. So when I got started in sales, I was like, I was feeling some type of way about it because I'm like, man, at that point, I had already started speaking. At that point, I was making way more money doing than I had ever made in my life doing anything because I was making a lot. Like for every time I spoke, it was a $12,000 fee that came attached with it. So I was like, I was new, and I thought, man, like this is awesome. But I wasn't. There was no residual. There was no leverage. If I don't show up and speak, I don't make any money. So I was like, man, I can create some leverage if I recruit some people, teach them how to sell, then I can make money 24/7, right? But my baggage was, well, I'm college educated. I'm a Morehouse man. You could tell a Morehouse man, but you can't tell him much. And then I got a Yale master's degree. Well, what's up with that? Like, why am I selling? Like this is all in my head. It's all in my head, y'all. I'm not having this conversation with nobody else out loud. It's in my head. If you're in your head, you're dead. If you're in your head, you're dead. Paralysis of analysis is real. You have baggage. You just need to know what it is so you can deal with it. Otherwise, you're not going to get to where you want to go. And so I had to confront that. So I'm literally talking to people, and I remember the very first check was $20. That was my first check. It was $20. I was excited about it. But I had some people around me that were looking at me like I was crazy because they couldn't understand why was I excited about $20 when I was literally at that time, I was making $12,000 every time I spoke. But I was excited by a $20 check. Why? Because I had a vision. I saw what it could be. When you are planting your seeds, you plant the seeds and you have a vision of the apple orchard long before it comes through the ground. You have a vision for the rose bushes long before they come up. You have a vision for the zucchini and the spinach and the peppers in your vegetable garden long before they manifest. You plant those seeds with a very clear, specific mental picture. And I was fighting with myself because I had the vision, but then I had this current circumstance. Am I playing myself? Am I being made a fool of? Am I selling myself short? Do I look ridiculous? And I had this conversation. Like I'm out here selling stuff and it's a $20 every time somebody says yes, I make $20. Like really? Like what? Why am I excited about this? But I would go back to the vision. So you got to understand that's unreasonable. Like that probably sounds to you all like that's foolish. That's like that doesn't make any sense. Like what are you talking about? Why wouldn't you just put all of your time into speaking as much as possible? If you're making that much every time you speak, I'd be focusing on speaking 2 or 3 times a week. That was not my mindset. My mindset was I want to make money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, multiple time zones. That's what I want to do. And I knew that if I built it and I did it correctly, that I could have more than enough income that I could possibly spend every month, whether I worked or not. I just knew it. I didn't believe it. I knew it because I kept encountering other people that were already doing it. So part of it is understanding when you're in this space, understanding that I know there are others who are already doing this, so I don't need proof. I know that it works because it's working for a lot of other people, different walks of life. What do I need? I need consistency. I need action, day in and day out. I need to keep building my own belief. And so what I did when I was having that fight, I just plugged into someone else's story until my story kicked in. I literally just plugged into other people's stories. Okay, so that person's making $20,000 a month. That person's making $50,000 a month. I can do it too. I'm watching them. I'm seeing how they move. They're just setting appointments. They're getting people to block out time and they're sharing information. It's not magical. It's not superpower. They're just doing the work. and they do it every day, and they have a confidence, they have a posture, the way they show up. I can tell that they're convicted about what they're saying and where they're going. I can do that. And so I started working on my vision for what I wanted to create. And so you know what I did with that $20 check? I wish I would have taken a picture of it. I put two zeros. I wrote in two zeros. And I said to myself, my goal, it's not even my goal is $2,000 a month. And I put the $20 check, I turned it into $2,000, put it on the refrigerator. I looked at it every day until I was making $2,000 a month. And then I went from $2,000 a month to $5,000 a month. And then I went from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month. And then I went from $10,000 a month to $15,000 a month. And I went from 15 to 22. Then I went from 22 to 25. Then I went from 25 to 32. Then I went from 32 to 40. Then I went from 40 to 45, topped out at 50 a month. I was making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and it started with a $20 check. I share that with you because if you think there were not people along the way that told me no, that told me I'm wasting my time, that told me that stuff doesn't work, that told me all kinds of stuff, I don't care, because I can either follow them or I can follow my vision and reaffirm and plug into people that were already winning at a high level, and I could just focus on those two things. I chose to follow people that were winning and focus on my vision until, that is the operative word, until it became manifest. Every encounter you have is an opportunity to find out what you're made of, to find out your belief, to find out your level of commitment. Is it going to be easy? No. It's going to be one of the hardest things you do. I promise you. I promise you. You're going to get your ass kicked. There's no question about it. The only question is, are you tough? Are you mentally tough? Are you willing to get up? You're going to get knocked down, get up, learn, adjust, get better. You can train or you can complain. You can train or you can complain. If you want to train, you'll be ready. Training is about anticipation. It's about knowing what's going to be coming anyway. And the reason you go slow is because you're trying to avoid the pain. And the slower you go, the worse it gets. Think about when you're riding a bike. I'll never forget when Azaria, I first got her on a bike. It blew my mind. Took her to the playground. And I have it on recording. I have the video. If you ever want to see the video, I'll send it to you. It's the very first time I'd taken the training wheels off. And boom, she was just off. Just rode, no problem. I was like, whoa. You know why? Because I told her to keep pedaling, like just pedal, like go fast, go fast. So she started and she just went right into momentum. She just went. And she didn't question what I was telling her because I didn't question what I was telling her. She could sense my conviction. She borrowed my belief until hers kicked in. And because of that, she rode. She didn't fall. I have it on camera. You know, people, first time they do it, they kind of get a little shaky. At some point, fear kicks in. They get scared. They realize they're pedaling. They realize they freak out. None of that happened. Never had it. She never had it. She rode and never wavered from that point on. If you get on that same bike, ladies and gentlemen, and you try to ride really slow, what's going to happen? When you try to ride a bike slow for the first time, what's going to happen? You ride and what happens? Boom, you fall over. You get back on it, and now you're focusing on that little bruise you got when you fell over the first time. So now you try to go slower. I'm going to be real careful. I'm going to try to, boom. And then I'm going to go slower now because I don't want to scrape my knee, get boom. And you cannot learn how to ride a bike that way because you're trying to avoid getting hurt because you keep going slow. So what happens with some of you is because you got some people that were not into it or they didn't respond the way you thought they were going to respond, and now you're hesitant. Now you're slow to pick up the phone to call the next person. That's why you're losing, because you're going slow. You can't, this doesn't work when you go slow. It doesn't work. It's not the same thing. What do you think is better? For you to show 10 people an overview in a week or a year? What's better, a week or a year? Obviously, it's better to show 10 people in a week. If you show 10 people in a year, the results are, you're not even going to feel the results, even if you have two of them that say yes. If you show 10 people in a week, the next week your posture is going to be up here. Your confidence is going to be up here. Your urgency is going to be up here because you're going to realize I can do 10 in a week. I probably could do 10 in a day. Success loves speed. You do not learn how to ride a bike going slow. Same thing with your sales process. So sales and success is about your mental clarity. It's about your vision for where you're going. It's about your confidence in your posture. It's about understanding every time you encounter a prospect, the question is, who's going to win? The person who is most aligned. Some prospects are going to be very aligned with a broke mindset, with negativity, toxicity, and you have to make a decision. Am I following them or are they going to follow me or we're going to part ways? But if you allow some random person to rob you of your dreams and your goals, they were not really your dreams and goals to begin with. You were not really serious to begin with. You were just messing around. You were not serious. So that's what sales and success does for all of us. It really calls us to the mat. And I know sometimes when I'm giving you context, I appreciate some of the feedback that you guys have shared with me, just in like private conversations, because you understand most situations are designed to keep you comfortable, to keep you living a very ordinary life. They're not designed for you to have an extraordinary life. They're not designed for you to have financial freedom, financial independence. They're basically set up for you just to do what you're supposed to do as a cog in the wheel. And the person or persons who are having the freedom, they're not even there because they're leveraging you. See, either you can create leverage or you can be leveraged. If all you want to do and all you aspire in your life is to be leveraged, then you will always have a permanent cap on your income and you will have limitations on your impact. But if you decide that you want to create leverage, if you decide that you want to impact in a very dynamic way, then you can create a level of income and independence for yourself that most people will never come close to, because most people are just comfortable in their routine, or even worse, they get swept up in the routine of their life. And they don't allow themselves, they don't demand bandwidth for something greater. Because their lives are running them instead of them running their life. You got to make a choice. I am going to run my life. My life is not going to run me. And I'm a parent. Some of you are parents. You understand, like, there's always going to be a demand on your time. I have elders that put a demand on my time. Some of you have elders too that put a demand on your time. Some of you have jobs and obligations and duties and responsibilities. I get it. You have your dream. You have your goals. Your dream and your goals cannot take a back seat to anything else. They can be on par, but they can't take a back seat. Otherwise, you're not going to fulfill them. You won't get it done. Ryan Serhant, he says it really well. He says, a paycheck is designed to kill your dream. Paychecks are designed to kill your dream. You have to level up in a different kind of way. And if you plug into the stories, when you have Leadership Magazine, if you plug into the best series, the Leader Cast, if you plug into the innumerable resources that we have to remind you of so many people that are winning at the highest levels, that will keep your feet to the fire. It will keep you reminded of what's available to you that will never, ever be available to you in your current full-time situation. Whatever's paying your bills right now, you can't do what we do here. You just can't, because if you could, you'd be doing it. If you could do it, you'd be doing it already. So that's the teaching point for today, understanding that when I talk to people, I'm just putting it down. I'm letting them know. I'm letting them know what I'm doing, it can change your life. You want to come with me, your life is going to change. There's no way you're going to spend time with me or around me. Your life is not going to change and get better. Now, if somebody has something better than that to offer you, then let's have a conversation. I will present my case because I'm coming at it from a holistic perspective. I invite all of you to remind people of this is a holistic process. If you're talking to somebody and they're out of shape, we bring value when it comes to their fitness. All of you can leverage what we do in fitness just by itself. If you're talking to somebody and they're not putting great things in their body on a consistent basis, we have leverage. We have expertise in that. So it's not just the business of what we do, but it's who we are and how we show up. Leverage it. Use it to your advantage. That's being strategic. Okay. So yeah, I just had to get that. I had to put that down. Hopefully you pick it up what I'm putting down, because that's what we do each and every day. But I want to open it up now because I want to hear from you before we close out the call. Those of you all that are here on YouTube, thanks for hopping on. If you got some value, please like and subscribe. Share this message if you think it's going to be a blessing to somebody else.